need to know all of those. So you need to be able to define ors. These are the skills and techniques that you'll become very familiar with as you work with our patients. You'll know how to invite them to be more open. The goal is to help the client resolve ambivalence about change and to make a commitment and plan of action. So when I say resolve ambivalence, that this is stupid, I don't want to come here. What do you know? You learned everything in a book. Yeah. You want to help them resolve that they're the one that needs to change. Only they can change. Change is not a bad thing. Change is not dangerous. Change is good. You want to help them develop what we call change talk, where they're actually talking about what they will do to change, to make things, or they may have done something already to change and not realize it, and then in the course of the counseling session, you may say, wow, that's a real change in your behavior because you've done something new. That's something that you wouldn't have done before. So they may not, it may be something that they have an opportunity to do and do not do. Like, for example, when we were doing the mock group, the guy who found the wallet and turned it in to the bus driver. He didn't steal the money. So it's something that they didn't do. Or something that they do that's a different behavior, a change in their behavior. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for cognitive behavioral, how you think and how you behave. There's a relation there, so we want people to actually change their thinking and change their behavior. And you want to help them identify that, because they may not identify that it's something changed. One of the languages that I like to use in counseling is they said, oh really, wow, you've done something different here? Oh, that's a real, you've made some progress here. That's really different. Wow, you've made a breakthrough. I say that to them because they don't realize that, hey, I have?
They just think it's just something that you just did.
They don't acknowledge that that is actually a success for them. And it's a success in counseling that they've actually changed. So this is observable behavioral change, empirical data. It's something that we can see that they've done. Whether it's really how they interact with their wife, how they interact with their mother, how they interact with their kids, how they interact with work, and tell them, wow, make sure you're connecting the dots and point it out to them and say, wow, you've made a breakthrough, Because what it tells them that they've been heard, and when they feel like they've been heard, that feels what? Kevin, you're up. That feels, when they feel like they've been heard,
they're good.
It feels damn good. Someone's listening to them and relating to them and understanding and empathizing with them.
I didn't want to continue that.
Yes, okay, well here's how you continue. Come tomorrow, I want a group tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Come to group tomorrow, you're my group, don't be late for group. And we'll schedule you a follow-up appointment. We'll pick up where we left off next Thursday. Come on, let's go make that appointment right now. Boom, boom, boom. Come back. Yeah, come back, retention, because if they don't come back, we can't help you. This is open-ended questions, and we all know what those are. Open-ended questions are questions that cannot comfortably be answered with a yes, no, or maybe answer. An example of a closed-ended question is one that can be answered yes or no. Have you had anything to drink today? No. An example of an open-ended question is, what is a typical drinking day like for you? So that allows them to elaborate. Affirmations. Again, I'm probably reminding you of something that you already know here. An affirmation identifies something positive about the client that gives credit or acknowledgement. It may be a trait, behavior, feeling, or past or present accomplishment. For example, I really like the way you're approaching this problem. I can see that you are very organized and logical, and I'm sure this will help you succeed in our program. An affirmation is always genuine and never condescending. So, for example, they may not want to be there. I don't want to be here today, or I didn't want to come. This is ridiculous. This is stupid. What's this all about? I don't even know why I'm here. But they're there. So, you want to affirm to them that, look, I know this is difficult for you, and I know you're struggling with this, but you're here, and you're on time too. That's great. Or it can be something from the past, whether it's going to work on time, graduating high school, whatever it is. They may not know or be aware that they've accomplished something there, and you want to affirm that for them.
Reflections. Reflections are statements made to the client reflecting or mirroring back to them the content, process, or emotions in their communications. A reflection is always a statement, and as such, the inflection at the end of the reflection goes down. You can turn a statement into a question by ending it with an inflection upward. Try it in this statement. For example, quote, "You are trying to stop using drugs?" End quote. Hear the difference? With the inflection up, the statement becomes a question. When using motivational interviewing strategies, the counsel wants the majority of their communication to be in the form of reflections and not as questions. An example of a double-sided reflection is, quote, "You've really been trying to stay sober and you're upset by this setback." End quote.
Reflections. And again, I could be reminding you of something that you already know, and for the most parts I am, but there could be some interns or students in the group, and these are important skills that need to be pointed out. Reflections are statements made to the client reflecting or mirroring back to them the content or process of emotions in their communications. A reflection is always a statement, and as such, the inflection at the end of the reflection goes down. You can turn a statement into a question by ending it with a high point. So, you can say to them, for example, "So you're really trying to stop using drugs?" If they're continuing to use. They say they're trying to stop, or I want to stop, and they're continuing, or they want to stop some behavior, yet they're continuing to do it. So we don't point that out to them, we just reflect it back to them. So you're saying that you want to stop, but it's really in the form of a question, or just pointing out. So you're saying that you want to stop, but how are you going about doing that? Because they're not stopping. Are they continuing the destructive behavior, or they're continuing to use? So you want to reflect, if they say that, you want to reflect it, or you're mirroring back to them what they're saying to you, so they hear it again.
Summarize. And this is a technique that should be familiar to all counselors. A summary is simply a long reflection. They can be used to make a transition to end a session, to bring together content for a single theme, or just to review what the client has said. An example is, quote, let's take a look at what we've talked about today. You are not at all sure you have a problem with alcohol, but you feel badly about your DWI and its effect on your family. You said that your family is the most important thing to you and that you would consider totally quitting drinking if you believed it was hurting them. Now I'm going off my script here a little bit because this is a perfect example of a discrepancy. This client could be saying wants to stop drinking and has a DWI and he doesn't want to hurt his family anymore. So you can't not hurt your family and continue to drink. That would be a discrepancy that would be pointed out. You can't be sober and be drinking at the same time. Or another example would be a client who wants to get clean but continues to use. You can't get clean and be using at the same time. That is a discrepancy that we're looking for in the motivational interviewing strategies. Another example would be a client who just wants to get his probation officer off his back. Okay, so you want to get your probation officer off your back, but you show up for the office visit and test positive for marijuana. So that's a discrepancy. Those two situations don't go together. If you want to get your probation officer off your back, great. We know exactly how to do that. But you can't do both.
In summaries, this is a common technique, strategy used by all of us. It's good for ending a session. You want to summarize what we've covered in this session, using affirmations and reflections to summarize where they are, what they've said, what their goals are, and what they're doing. So those ORs are the motivational interviewing skills. Right? Now, what is the motivational interviewing assessment? Its use of client-centered motivational interviewing style to identify the client's capacity for change. Motivational interviewing strategies that can be integrated into your agency's existing intake assessment process via the motivational interviewing sandwich. I'm going to show you how to do that. And you can also use these skills in individual sessions to identify where the patient is or what they want to work on that day. And that can change. Could follow their treatment plan, goals and objectives, but there may be some new information that they may share with you after they trust the therapeutic alliance, and you're going to want to incorporate that and modify their treatment plan. Methods that can be used with diverse substance use disorder problems. So these skills can be used with any population: adolescents, elderly, men, women, co-occurring substance use disorders. So it's a diverse population can use these skills. Skills for assisting clients in addressing their own substance use. So they know that it's substance use is the problem. Their use of substance is causing them the problem. So we make that connection for them. So they're able to identify that and address what they want to do to change that. And we can help through directive counseling, help them to achieve those goals. But these are their goals. Understand the client's perception and willingness to enter into the treatment process. And as I said before, unless they come back, unless they come to treatment, unless they're motivated to come back and want to come back, we can't help them. Mandated clients, it's okay, because statistics show we do very well with mandated clients. But the patient who wants to come back, who comes back, if we lose someone and they don't come back, or how quickly we can re-engage them after a relapse, we can't help them unless they come. And that's what we want to do, encourage them to come. Therapeutic alliance. Once ready for change, the client begins to identify personal goals and methods to achieve them in collaboration with the treatment program clinicians. That's you guys. So through this therapeutic alliance, they will work in collaboration with you to achieve their goals that you identify with them. And this comes directly from the blending initiative. You can't see it here, maybe on the video, but you have a copy of this PowerPoint presentation. It comes with this education CD. So the PowerPoint presentation and this video and the printed handouts are on the CD. And you'll see if you click your way through it that I'm citing the blending initiative. This is their strategy. Try to use that language. Therapeutic alliance. Continue to use therapeutic relationship, but you want to have an alliance. You want them to have an alliance with you to achieve their goals.